and we'll call the meeting to order. So, as always, first thing to do is establish a quorum. All board members are present. That makes a quorum. Do I have to name them?
Nope.
Good, thank you. Next thing is to clear the minutes up from the last meeting. We normally waive the reading since it's out there
I would make a
online.
motion to waive the reading as they were sent out to all.
I have a motion
members.
to waive. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Passes unanimously. Check them out online if anybody wants to see them.
And the board meeting notice is posted in the laundry room.
Thank you. Are you still in Charlotte Bay?
Yes, I leave tomorrow.
Nice.
This was the most useless stay of my existence, but what the hell?
Oh, but at least you got to see the place.
Yep.
Okay. First thing on the agenda is the Right Way Milton cleanup invoice status report. I spoke with Ian Landry, or have been in contact, and they're holding out that we still owe them the 16.5. It doesn't seem like they want to negotiate any, and they really don't want to give us any explanation of why, other than their explanation was, well, we looked everything over and we were really entitled to more, and we're not going to bill you more. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't have time to negotiate with them any more than I already have. The bill is out there. We probably do owe it to them. We can make them sweat on it a little while, maybe. But I'm not getting anywhere with them, apparently. So we might be on the hook for that one.
David, do you have any comments on this?
We're talking about Right Way.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is they haven't been out there for 90 days and they haven't filed a lien, so they can't. If they try to file a mechanics lien, we can just have it dismissed because they would have had to file way back when. Last communication I saw was that, we had asked them for additional information and they haven't provided it. And I've seen that go back and forth saying, well, you've billed for stuff that is in excess of what industry standard is. So I'm of the opinion we let them continue to talk to the adjuster.
They're not talking to the adjuster. The adjuster's already made the claim. He's filed it and he's paid what he's paid.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it's on our table. We could send them the same email again saying, these are our bullet points. This is what was rejected. Please give us a straight answer on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, go round and round. I'm willing to give it another stab at that, but I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. But it'll prolong things and put it off until our next meeting.
Here's my thought, Rob. I would just put a pin in it and see where we are when we're finished with WSV. And if we've got the money at that point, then it's an easy decision. If we don't, then it's worth our while to drag it out and save the money.
And that's probably good advice. And I would go along with that. Does anybody else on the board want to discuss or chime in on this?
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, we will table that for now, and we're going to continue to pursue negotiations, let's say. Number 2 on the agenda is WSV's punch list items. No end date was announced, and of course, since that was put out, we've had a stop work order slung on us. From what I understand, the stop work order is, David has his hand up, so maybe he's got some intel to give us.
They stopped work because the county didn't like the fact that they pulled a permit for both buildings on one permit. They basically made us terminate the notice of commencement and file 2 new notices of commencement for each building. My understanding, because I signed that stuff early this week, so my guess is that, and Misty said she has what she needs now, so that should be resolved.
I do believe it was more or less a paperwork issue. The permits were kind of there. They just didn't like the way the permits were issued. There's too many complications with different buildings, different permits for doors, permits for windows, et cetera, et cetera. So they wanted to consolidate everything down to one. From what, for the most part, other than the laundry room door and my kitchen, I don't think it's really holding too much up because everything's pretty much taken care of other than punch list items. And hopefully everybody's compiling their own for the most part. I haven't seen anybody's yet. But I know everybody's dealing with WSV directly on their own for the most part. So I would say no news is good news on that front. Any other board members want to talk about punch list items?
I sent mine to Mark. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay.
We did also.
Okay.
This is Paul.
We're not bored, but we did it.
We sent it to Mark.
Very good.
For
Paul,
his
have you
request.
been down there to go over anything and
Us?
yeah. So
No.
I mean, so you have somebody making a punch list for you, or are you just talking
No.
kitchen items that you're dealing?
I had,
We got photographs.
our neighbor went in and photographed where things were, and talking to Misty, that's how I put together the list.
Okay, wonderful. I'm just kind of.
We should be okay, Rob.
All right, anybody want to talk about punch list items or the progress of WSV at this point?
Do we know what the status of the stairs are? Has anybody got any data on that yet?
I mean, from what I was told, the rug people were supposed to be coming this past week to do any stairs that were rug. The laminate stairs that were laminate, they were waiting on a final trim piece, a bullnose piece, to do any of the ones that were laminate. And then rug, laminate. I don't know if there was any other delays. But I'm assuming the stop work order affected them on that also. I don't know that for sure. But since WSV has the stop work order on them, it might be holding things up. But
Okay, thanks.
I don't know anything directly on that.
Rob, do you know anything about the mirrors in our places?
Yes. Mirrors. I sent out an email just 5 minutes before the meeting. Some board members may have gotten it, but the paperwork that I was given from Colonial Claims gives unit 49, which is Claire's unit. They say she had 64 square feet of mirror, which had a price, a total recovery price of $1,835.52 for Claire's unit. Unit 50, which is Rana and Paul's, at 48 square feet of mirror at the same footage per square feet. Your total is $1,376. My unit was the final unit that had mirrored walls, 96 square feet, for a big total of $2,806. Again, we briefly talked about it at the last meeting, and the board was kind of in agreement that we would do it the same way as the kitchen cabinets. You replace your mirrors, submit a receipt, you'll be reimbursed up into that amount, which is what I plan on doing.
Rob, did you get those numbers per unit to Arnold so that he can put it in our spreadsheet?
Yeah, again, I did. I emailed this out to all the board members about 5 or 6 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah, I got it.
I can do a better scan of it. I did just take a quick picture of it and sent it just so everybody kind of saw what I was looking at.
Rob, do we need to take care of it from here? Can you give us the name of who's doing yours?
Yeah, I mean, mine originally were put up by Punta Gorda Mirror and Glass, and I'm hoping they're still in town. But yeah, I'll have them look at your unit at the same time.
Thank you.
Rob, I'm
Yes,
sorry to jump in here. Somebody just joined phone number 3059 with no name.
Sandy,
oh, hello, Sandy. Welcome to
Hi.
the meeting.
thank you.
Okay, so we were talking about the WSV punch list items, and at this point, does anybody else have anything to add about WSV punch list items? Okay, so we'll move on. The next thing on the agenda is the South Building repitch roof project, and the fact that we're waiting on the warranty. I have had several emails from Galloway requesting payments. And I'm not really 100% sure what we paid them and what we haven't paid them, because their invoices are kind of vague, but I printed out the original contract, and the payment schedule was a 10% deposit, 40% when materials were delivered, 40% upon the completion of the job, and then 10% upon
warranty.
GAF inspection and warranty. But apparently, I mean, they're telling me we haven't paid anything. I know David probably wasn't prepared for this question and doesn't have that intel in front of him. However, and the whole roofing project was $31,910.
So theoretically, we should have already paid 90% of that.
Theoretically, we should have paid 90% of that. Which, as far as I know, they did what they were supposed to do. It was a good job, well done. We had no issues or rain leakage or anything. So yeah, I'm fine with approving whatever amount is due less the 10% until we get the GAF warranty information. So long as everybody else is in agreement, I will ask them to really give us. David, do you recall, did we give them a deposit? I mean, couldn't imagine they put the roof on without us giving them any kind of money.
Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not in my office, so.
I mean, we must be a pretty good customer if they did that. I mean, that's pretty good.
I have seen them do $30,000-$40,000 jobs with no deposit, but I think we paid them something to get started.
Yeah,
I don't know the number. Jody could tell you that. Just sending an email, you or Mark could send Jody an email. Although she's probably gone now. It's 4 on a Friday, but we can answer that on Monday.
All right, so let's look into that, and if the board is in agreement at this point, let's agree to pay the balance less 10%. 10%, that's $3,190 off of the $31,000, less whatever we've previously paid. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, we need to assign that. Rob, you doing it or you want me to?
No, well, if you're offering, I will let you.
Okay, so the total was
31,910.
Okay.
We're withholding 10% of that until we get the GAF warranty, and we will give them any balance due from that number less anything that we've given them. Okay.
All right, I'll shoot something to,
Danny, do you have anything to add on the GAF thing? Did you talk to
I
Galileo?
spoke to him a few weeks back and they said they had a punch list. I think I told you that before, that maybe not. They had a punch list that they had to correct some things and then they were going to have it re-inspected. And then I didn't hear anything back from them. And I can follow up on it next week.
Do you think in your professional opinion, withholding 10% if they have a punch list is
Of
adequate?
course.
I would certainly hold something back. 10% is only $3,000. And if we're waiting on warranty information and a past permit, that's reasonable. The work's not done. We got to have something we can hold to the fire.
Well, the 10% is what's in the contracts, and I'm all right with sticking with the contract. I don't want to,
Contracts states.
I mean,
received
they haven't invoiced us. Are we sitting on an invoice? Have they invoiced us and we're sitting on one, or do we not have an invoice?
Yeah, no, I have 2 invoices here from them. One for the 10% deposit of $3,191. And the second one hold on. Mixing up my papers. The second one is $25,528, which would be the 80%,
right.
which would mean we gave them absolutely nothing.
All right, I'll get that straightened
We
out.
just have to make sure that we did give them absolutely nothing, and they did it with no money down. And I'm all right with paying those invoices, or the one.
I don't recall us ever giving them a check, frankly.
Jody will be able to answer that Monday.
Okay.
I'll get with Jody.
So check mark. Okay. The next thing up on the agenda is Danny's request for reimbursement. It appears to me he's requesting reimbursement for $1,350 potentially.
Correct.
So discussion. I'll go last.
Can I ask what the leak was from? Was it from the roof or from the window?
From the roof. From the storm, from the roof.
And, okay,
From the hurricane storm.
was this after was this after the new roof or
No,
before the new roof?
before.
It was after, well, the new roof, when you say new roof, remember he's in our building that didn't get a new roof. Our building, the roof was put in after Ian. And the damage was, I don't know if the damage was done before the roof was 100% complete or after it was 100% complete, but it still had issues that Galloway had to fix.
Still issues that Galway had to fix. Remember,
Right. I mean, nobody's really disputing, I don't think, that, the leak came from the roof.
Yeah, it certainly did.
Um,
And we had that discussion last month, and I had him break down the painting.
Yep.
It's like $200. So we take that off.
So, again, I mean, this goes back to anybody. I think the association needs to pay for what the association is responsible for. What I don't like about the situation is the board not having a choice and being submitted bills after the fact, and us setting precedent at this point that anybody can do any repairs they want. And if they deem it's board whatever, then they're going to submit their bills and make us pay them. we don't have a, I mean, I won't say we don't have a budgeted for. We have a $5,000 budget line for building maintenance that we could attribute this towards. So, you know, we do have that leniency. Again, my only issue is just letting people submit bills and forcing us to pay them, even though they are our responsibility. And that's the only thing I'm thinking. You know, I'm just thinking with my director's cap on, and whatever. I need a motion to pay the bill, I guess.
I'll make the motion, pay the bill of $1,350. And
Okay,
to
motion.
reimburse Daniel Waldman for interior damage.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, can aye?
Aye.
All right. So the motion does pass with Mark, Daniel, Arnold, and Rose voting aye. I am going to, I don't want to vote no, but I will abstain, I guess, because I do think it's an area that the board needs to be very cautious on moving into. But that said, Palmer will be directed to send a rebate check to Daniel for $1,350.
Okay, since I'm speaking with Jody Monday, I'll talk to her about that too.
You can include that. Very good.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Okay. The next thing to discuss is the erosion behind Unit 49. Claire's getting quotes. I don't see Claire on the call. She did send,
She shot us a quote
She did
a
send
few
an
minutes
email.
ago.
she did send an email with her plea and a quote for $800.
Yeah.
My thoughts on it at this point in time is I'm not spending $800 on cleaning up anything and setting railroad ties where they're going to float away again. I'd be more than happy to help clean up the area when I'm down there, but at this point in time, I'm not even entertaining.
What were these railroad ties for? Just landscaping?
They were landscape railroad ties that Diane had gotten when the railroad replaced railroad ties, and they're actual railroad ties. They were given to us, and she and some other volunteers stacked them out back, drove rebar through them, and spruced the place up a little bit. It was more aesthetics than anything else. We're not losing any land in the area that she's referring to. It just doesn't look as pretty as it used to because it's been flooded a few times and there's debris there. The debris is really helping with the erosion issues. So at this point, as much as I'd like to help Claire with her project back there, I don't believe it's really a board issue or an association issue, other than a beautification project that we can take up at another time. Would anybody else like to talk about this issue?
I agree with you 100%.
Okay, so next issue on the agenda is the leaking lanai roofs. Mark and Rose were going to get some quotes, which I thought you kind of had, but I guess we're still waiting on hearing from WSV on what they can or can't do.
I have two quotes. WSV revised their quote when I asked them to power wash the roof before they treated, and that is $800. And then I asked sent an email back today to ask her to revise the quote, requesting that they remove the items on the lanai and or tarp the whole lanai before they apply the coating. So I have not gotten a revised quote, but that's $800 from WSV. Now I did get a quote from Galloway today also, and Galloway, let me pull that up. Galloway is $1,150, and what they are doing is pressure washing the entire roof, sealing any loose material along the seams and laps, applying a silicone coat at a rate of 2 gallons per 100 square foot, creating a topside coating thickness of 18 mils, and cleanup of all job-related debris.
Well, obviously, we're doing.
And it's a better quality material, according to
Yeah,
Galloway.
well, my opinion, okay, is that they're doing more, obviously. Between the 800 to 1,100, maybe.
And they're a roofing company,
Right, well, yeah,
and they're skilled in doing this.
Can I finish just 1 second?
Yes,
Maybe we could negotiate it and have several of them done for 1,000 a piece, and then get a warranty, like at least a 2-year guarantee on it against leaks. Okay? And since we've been doing a lot of business with them, since they are a roofing company, I think they'll do it. So we need that it won't leak for 2 years. And if it does, then they'll come back and fix it. And if we can get that for 1,000, that'll be
It's worth it.
that'll be a good deal.
yes, I agree.
So that's what, if you want, I could get a hold of them.
We first have to get more than me. My next door neighbor does not want to do it because she doesn't think her roof is leaking.
So
And
all we
it's
have
the-
is you at this
well,
point?
right now, and
Oh, no,
and
me.
Mark.
Yeah.
And
And
add
Mark.
me. You can add me into that too.
So we have
But
3
the-
now. We have
The
Mark.
joint seam between me and my next door neighbor is the one that's leaking. But she says it's not leaking on her side, it's only leaking on my side. But it's the same seam,
I totally
So-
understand that. It's the same roof.
correct?
So yeah, so if she doesn't do hers, it doesn't do any good for you to do yours.
So if we're gonna start spending $1,000 per unit
Yeah, because
for
too much money
sealing
right
up the
now.
roof on a tin roof that we know needs to be replaced, on, old lanai cages that nobody, well, at least I don't like, is now the time to start thinking about, the next big project. I'd rather take that $15,000 and put it into a deposit to replace all those roofs and, the cages.
Well, why not get a price on, see what it costs, and then we can compare it to
We
a
can.
year for 2
But-
years or replace.
Why
it.
not get a price at this point then on, replacing the lanai cages and the roofs? We've only looked at doing roofs. How about the whole project?
No, we've only looked at repairing. Maybe we can look at,
We did look at replacing the roofs at one time.
Yeah, it was
Oh, you did?
$100,000 bill.
yeah, well, that's not happening. I mean, if we can get 2-year warranty out of it for $1,000, it seems to me that would be a good investment.
I'm all for it. Let's get the quote. I mean, I have no problems with quotes.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Thank you, Danny.
Because you said the next big project is the windows. So the roof,
It should be. It should be. It
so
should be.
the project after that is going to be quite a few years down the road for the roofs. the
Let's bring
lanai.
that up in new business. Next thing on the agenda is south building gutters being cleaned. From what I understand, they got cleaned, right?
Correct.
Shane was there, gutters are cleaned. Must have taken them 2 hours because it cost, 140 instead of 70 or?
Right. What held him up, and I just want to raise this, is, and he sent me a picture, which I believe I sent to the board. There are a lot of cables in the gutter. And evidently they collect the debris. So I don't know if it's common practice for Comcast to run cable in the gutter, but that's what caused a little bit of the issue.
So if we go back months and months and months ago, there was a conversation David and I had, and we were going to try to get Comcast over there to look at those wires and see what we could do about cleaning them up, because they start right there by the laundry room, and they, run up that laundry room wall, and then, they go to each unit. Don't know what we can make them do. We never really gave them permission to do it that way. They just did it that way on that building. The other building doesn't have it. So I know we were going to reach out to the vendors, and this is, back in January or February, which was both Comcast and the telephone people, CenturyLink, and see what wires we could get rid of there. I left Florida and did not follow up on that in any way, shape, or form. So
I delegated it. I don't know the answer to the question, so I'm gonna have to follow up with you, Rob. I'll have to text to Mary Ann and see if my gut reaction is they said the answer was not our issue, not our problem. But I'll follow up and find out.
I mean, if we have a board, as a board, decide we don't like the wires there and we just have them cut off the building, then it's up to the individual unit owners to get their Comcast back to their units. They'll probably do it the same way unless we make a rule saying it can't be done that way. I don't know what the right answer there is or what we can do. But it would be nice if they could at least clean up their wiring a little. They are charging each unit owner and they're creating individual problems. So maybe each individual account owner has to call and complain, and maybe we need to attack them that way.
Well, the difference from when we talked earlier in the year, Rob, is we didn't know that these wires were in the gutters at the time.
Well, that is
that
true. That is true. We were just
that may be something we can follow up and say, hey, you were supposed to come out and help us understand what is live, mark what's live and what's not, that so we can remove some of it. And what the heck is all, if they're orange, those are supposed to be temporary lines. Most orange lines, when Comcast lays out those things, are the ones when they are turning on cable, so their permanent guys can come out and install it. We may be lucky and those are all non-live lines at this point. I don't know the answer though. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of work on that.
Well, if you guys saw the picture I sent, I would say between 4 and 6, they look like yellow extension cords, fat yellow extension cords running the length of the in the gutter.
Yeah, I mean, I cleaned them up myself. I zippy tied them all along that conduit, outside your bedroom window. If you looked at the end of the building above the laundry room, I just didn't go along the lanai roof and tie them all together and make them look pretty. So I'm familiar with the wires that are there.
There's other issues obviously with wires. The number one issue I see yes, any ones that are not in use need to be eliminated. We need to get a hold of them. Also, the fact it's taking up space in the gutters, which will not allow as much water to go in, that obviously can cause it to overflow. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it was collecting debris.
Right, collecting debris, and then which will not allow water to go into the gutters and will make it overflow then, of course.
So I'm going to put here that Palmer is going to follow up with the vendors, if possible.
Yep.
Thank you, David.
Whatever is not being used needs to be eliminated.
The next item was the house numbers that we had talked about last week, and we're waiting to hear from Misty. Have we heard back from Misty on the house numbers?
No.
I have seen nothing on house numbers from Misty. So at this point, we will move on to new business. Is there any new business that needs to be brought before the board?
Sandy just handed me an email today about fire extinguishers, our yearly fire extinguisher check. I'm not aware of that, but I assume it's a regular bill. It's just automatically paid and they walk around and look and say, oh, fire extinguisher.
I do know that we get them inspected annually. Syntec does it. There's tags hanging on them all. I thought it was around December that they were due. Maybe it's a little earlier than that. But David, how does that work? Is that like an automatic thing as far as you know?
They usually send us a reminder. It would be useful for if any of you are in your unit, take a look at your fire extinguisher and tell me what the tag says via email Monday, just to say, so I can see when the expiration date is.
Oh, what a coincidence. Right here. Oh.
Usually there's a piece of paper that's hung on it.
So this is each individual unit and not the ones that we're responsible for outside?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I don't know if we were doing it for everybody or we were just doing the laundry room and whatever was outside, because I have associations that do both or just do the association's responsibility. So I don't know the answer to that.
I would think we're just responsible for the association's responsibility, but that's just.
Well, then if we didn't do the one that's inside, what Mark's doing doesn't help us any.
Yeah, the weird part is it has a tag that's blank.
Okay, then that's not one that we did.
Look on one on the wall next time you're outside and see what month is on there, and then we'll know if we're in a. I'm pretty sure it was December.
Well, the only reason because Sandy said Syntec called her and said, hey, we want to schedule a time to come out and do your fire extinguishers in September.
That sounds about right. They probably still have Sandy's name on the
right
as a contact. It never got changed back. But usually they'd call both Sandy and the management company. So we may already be on top of that. I just, because it wasn't on the agenda, I don't have any update for it.
And I passed it on an email to you and Marianne and Anthony.
If Marianne has it, don't worry about it. It's going to get handled.
Okay. Easy
Not
peasy.
worried about it. Okay, what else do we got new? Nobody's got anything new. Awesome.
Hey.
So who's going to follow up with WSV to make sure all the punch lists get done in the units before they get paid, the final payment?
Oh, I will definitely be. They're not getting any final payment until all the permits are signed off on and everybody's happy within their units. And I think they're happy with that too. Mark made the trip down this time, hopefully, to have done that walkthrough. I am hoping to get down there. I usually come down in September. I don't know how that's going to fit into their plans, but yeah, I mean, I honestly, I hope I get to do the final walkthrough. I'd really like to. But unfortunately, we don't know when that's going to be 100%.
And also,
an thing.
I'm going to make this point. Rose wasn't aware, or somebody wasn't aware. Misty is Patrick's wife, and she is having some serious health issues. She told me she was out of pocket all day Thursday for 7 hours of tests and at the hospital. And I guess that's become a common occurrence right now. So, and I've also learned just getting to know them that Patrick is not a detailed person. He, if Misty gives him a project, that's how it gets done. So that seems to be our holdup now. And I'm not complaining. I understand family. I get it. But just giving everyone a heads up, rather than be mad at Patrick and Misty. It was just an additional piece of information. She's very ill.
So is WSV a large company and those are and Misty and Patrick are a subcontractor of WSV? Do they have other staff that they could send to finish up our project?
Well, my understanding is Patrick and Misty are WSV, but they have crews. And Daniel can speak more into how this process works, but basically they've got 3, 4, 5 crews, construction crews, painting crews, whatever, and they're just shooting them out to projects every day to keep
Okay.
the crews rotating and going in different projects. Now, WSV has some relationship with another company. The one we wrote the checks to, they seem to have more money. And I don't know exactly what that relationship is.
All right. Okay,
But right now with the stop work order on them, nobody
Right.
can do anything anyway.
Well, I think that got lifted because I just sent out an email today from Misty to me saying that the plumber was going to be here between 8 and 10 tomorrow morning and wanted to check inside every unit to make sure the hot water heater was done to the terms of the permit.
Okay, well. Moving on to other new business. Any other new business to be brought before the board? Okay, in that case,
Other business, next meeting, Friday, September 5th.
Friday, September 5th. It is.
thank you.
Yeah. And I'll make a motion to adjourn at 4:41.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you next month.
Meeting
Hi,
adjourned.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.